Hello and welcome to another episode of Meet Our Brokers at the M Real Estate Group. I am your host. I am Thomas Mestis. I am the qualifying broker and president of the M Real Estate Group. And today I have the honor and opportunity to bring to you Joshua Guevara. He's one of our top brokers at our brokerage, and I'm super excited to bring him and find out more about Josh. So Josh, welcome.
Tom, how you doing?
Welcome to the show, brother.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, thank you for being here. So I didn't butcher your name, obviously. I was working on those. Or did I butcher it?
No, it was a very good job. It sounded like a novella all the way through.
Nice, nice. Very cool. So one of the biggest things that being from New Mexico, and my name being Mestis, I've always been known as Maestas. In fact, the other day I think I was a Maestas. In fact, a contractor that we have on one of our properties that we're doing, I was looking at the bid and he's like, Maestas. And I'm like, no. He's like, oh, I'll change it real quick.
Hey, I'm just going to roll with it at this point, right?
But, after 49 years basically on this earth and everyone always getting my name wrong, I'm like pretty much used to it. So
telling you got to roll with those punches.
Fun fact, my uncle in the 60s, he was in the Navy and they had changed his name to Maestas. And so he legally, because he was just sick of it being changed all the time, so he legally changed his name to Maestas.
Hey, where's the paperwork?
He's like, just give me the paperwork. Let me just sign. This is going to happen. So anyway, welcome so much. Thank you for being here. We really appreciate you being here. So you are you born and raised here?
North Valley, Albuquerque, New Mexico, born and raised.
So
Yeah.
LA,
Yeah,
Lower Albuquerque.
yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Yep,
Very cool.
by the Bosque.
Nice. So you grew up, you went to school and all that stuff down there?
Yep, Alvarado All-Star to a Taft Trojan to a Valley Viking.
Wow.
I know.
I did Los Ranchos, Taylor, Valley.
Look at that.
And my daughters all did Alvarado. One went to Taft for a little while and then went to a charter school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so very cool.
Keeping it in the neighborhood.
Yeah, for sure. Love the Valley.
Of course. Who
Yeah.
doesn't?
Yeah, yeah. Well, at the one time, the Valley wasn't the Valley. Like the
Really?
Valley wasn't like desirable like the Valley is today. Yeah.
That's a shocker.
Yeah. But at one time, it was like, hey, everybody wanted to buy, it's like anything else. Like, oh, I want the new stuff. I don't want this old stuff. I want the new stuff. I want the new house. And that's where we started seeing sprawl and all that stuff happening. But cool, man. Valley boy. That's awesome. Way to go.
Yeah. And I plan to keep it there, right? Hope my
Yeah.
kids are already kind of going there, so
Absolutely.
keep the
Absolutely.
tradition.
I love the Valley. There's so many great things about the North Valley. And if you're not a North Valley person or a Valley person, you've got all the ditches or las acequias. You've got all those things,
Yep.
and you've got all the cool stuff. But if I like to run, so I like to run on the ditches. Or the
I mean, you
acequias.
can travel from one end of the North Valley to the other through the ditch.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, totally. Crawdads.
Big time. Fishing. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you
Bologna,
get
hot
them
dogs?
and eat them? Did you eat them? Did you catch
I
them?
didn't
and
eat them, no.
No?
A little too scared to eat them.
Recently, I was down on a run, and I came across a guy that had been fishing all day,
Yeah.
and he had buckets full of crawdads, and they were planning
No
to fish,
way.
like a crawdad fry or whatever
Yeah.
they do, or boil or whatever they do.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
That's
crazy in our
intense.
ditches.
Yeah, all day long.
Yeah, yeah. New Mexico crab,
There you go. I love that.
Rio Grande crab. All right, so awesome. That tells me a little bit about you. Born and raised in the Valley, solid all the way through Alvarado, Taft, Valley High School. Go Vikings! I actually just had my 30-year reunion, Valley Vikings.
Man, I think, my 20 year's coming up pretty soon, so.
Thank God you said 20.
Yeah.
I thought you were about to say 10. I was like, oh, out of here! Get out of the get out of the
You're
studio.
done.
You're out. We are not going to be here. Like this is over. Let's get out of here.
Mic's off. I love that.
No, that's fun. That's so cool. So, we're going to get serious now.
Of course.
Of course.
Of course.
But what brought you to join the M Real Estate Group?
Funny story. Shout out to Matthew Berg with Prime Lending.
Matthew Berg, Prime Lending.
Shout out to you, good sir.
Shout out Matt Berg, Prime Lending.
I was with another brokerage, and I was having a really rough time with that brokerage. Not going to say where or
Yeah,
who
sure,
it was, but Matt sat me down and was like, "You need to meet Tom." And I said, "All right." I mean, I think we went to breakfast at what is it? It's on Jefferson and Osuna, Jimmy's Cafe.
Jimmy's Cafe.
Bam.
Shout out to Jimmy's Cafe.
Shout out to Jimmy's Cafe.
All the locals, right? We got to do
Oh,
that.
that is a
For sure.
eatery for sure. You got to
Yeah.
visit.
Yeah, for sure.
Sat down with you guys. You kind of gave me the spiel of what the M Group is about, right? And
Okay.
that's kind of like really what bought me over was just the fact that the support was all there. Automation right? I never knew what automation was, to where like someone goes and puts the sign up for you, and it's like, oh wow, okay.
Yeah,
So you don't have
yeah.
to worry about that. You just worry about making business.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What is your talent? What are you best at, right? That's the key. And that's kind of what the M Group has been about. It's like, what is the activity that you were best at? What did you get, basically hired on for? And it wasn't to be the best sign installer. It wasn't to be the best lockbox installer or any of those things. The goal was for you to be the best broker that you could be, making sure that you're educating yourself, that you're taking the time to take the proper education, to learn the skills that are necessary to basically elevate you and elevate the experience for your client. That's really the goal.
Yeah, for sure. And I felt that way for sure, because it's like it really taught me to specialize and come up with solutions and think outside the box,
Yeah.
but do it on the fly,
Yeah.
right? Because that's what real estate technically is. You come up with a problem and it's like, we need an answer today.
Yeah. You know, one of the things I most appreciate about you, you were technically, and this might come out of left field a little bit, you were the Liam Neeson of real estate. You've got a very special set of skills.
I feel that way. I'm
know?
very quiet for the most part, and it's like
Yeah.
out of nowhere, boom, there's three transactions.
And it's not necessarily transactionally, but it's you thinking outside the box and having a very special set of skills that most real estate brokers don't ever learn or get to use or anything else, because you go into things that are interest you, but also it's like stretching, growing, learning. And I'll give a kind of an example is from assignments to assigning a contract, or just coming up with different ideas and thinking outside the box of how a transaction can actually happen. A little bit about that I know about you is you were kind of raised in this environment a little bit. Your mother was already in the real estate business.
Yep.
So it's kind of like born and bred into you a little bit.
For the most part, yeah. I mean, she was in title work for 30 years, so of course I got
Still
to see
is.
it. Yeah,
Shout
still
out
is.
to
Lori Rodarte, Old Republic Title, Lisa Ortega is the team. Definitely want to use them for all your transactions and
There we
title
go.
work.
We're like these plugs are just popping them in there.
Boom.
Boom, just like that.
Popcorns.
All right. So 30 years in the business. You've been how long in the business now?
6 years now.
6 years now. Mm-hmm. But a pretty solid foundation and a great team.
I mean, you got to see the back end of it, right? And that's
Yeah.
what real estate really is
Absolutely.
the title work at the end of the day.
There's a lot of that, for
Yeah.
sure.
Big part.
Like I was saying the other day on our morning call, I was like, when you signed up for real estate, you didn't think you were just going to get your real estate license. Like, you are now a counselor.
Mm-hmm.
You are a counselor. It's like, okay, I know that you're having problems. Let's come on, sit on the couch. Let's talk this
Therapist,
through. Let's
yep.
therapist,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. Figure this out. So that's a lot of that. So 6 years in the business.
6 years. Only 2 brokers that I've worked for. This one's the main one that I'm at home, right? At home.
Nice. Well, we definitely appreciate you being here. You always come with a great attitude, always excited, always courteous, always respectful. Like there's a thing in this business, and there's a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Prima donnas. They
Yeah,
come
you
with
run into
very
that.
big heads, and they walk through the room, and they walk through. And you're not one of them, so that's really cool. That's a joy, and I can honestly say at the M Real Estate Group, we have such an incredible team of people.
Huge
that
team. That's amazing.
Humble, work hard. They just truly want to do what's right with the client, and I think it's a culture thing. And thank goodness that we're going on 21 years now.
Dang.
That 21 years ago, we came up with our core values, and we really stuck to that, and that's key. And just really bringing on the right people to be able to be part of the team. And what's funny about that is when you bring on the wrong person, they weed themselves out very easily. So.
True. I mean, you kind of see it. They alienate themselves, don't, mix with the client or mix with the team that we have,
Yeah.
right? I feel like just jumping on those morning calls in the morning, it feeds a lot into everybody's motivation, right?
Yeah.
And then not only that, just even our media team. I mean, they're amazing as well.
Shout out to Yasmin and Arturo.
All day, every day.
Yeah, they are here today.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, they're super awesome. Super talented, great personality. The biggest thing with Yasmin, though, is you got to make sure you get her coffee in the morning. If you don't get her coffee,
It's over.
jeez. Like, I don't know. I don't even know what to
You
say.
might lose a pinky.
You might. In fact, we're going to just go ahead and hide this.
Hide
thing
those
right here.
pinkies. Oh, that's great.
But we have a great team, and I think that's the biggest thing is we're serious when we have to be serious. We know our real estate business, and you know your real estate business, but you got to have fun doing it. And I think if you're going to be great at anything, you've got to enjoy it.
For sure.
So, and being around people that have the common goals and dreams, and they want to accomplish those things, and they want to elevate rather than tear you down, I think that's a huge part of the environment.
For sure.
And that comes down from, just like helping people elevate up. So there's something that's been said is like a rising tide lifts all ships. And I try to live my life by that. And that's always been something that I've always tried to do is like you could tear people down, but it's so much easier to build people up and really see them shine through and see what they can become.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A fortified front.
45 front?
Fortified front.
Fortified front.
Fortified.
Fortified. That's awesome. So there's a book. There's a book called it's called Leaders Eat Last. It's by Simon Sinek. If you haven't read it, there's another plug. Simon Sinek, great book. It's called Leaders Eat Last. But it's really about talking about leadership and being the leader from within, and then also playing the infinite game. There's another book by Simon Sinek, The Infinite Game. But really playing all in and being there for, there's no end in sight, right? There's no winners, there's no losers. It's just being the best you possibly can all the time. You're not trying to get to the finish line. You're just trying to be the best you possibly can, the best version of Joshua that he can be.
You get better every day.
Every day. So speaking about getting better every day, you've got some amazing kids.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's kind of my motivation, right? I mean, I feel like that would be most people's motivation, right? Just to wake up and show them.
Yeah, hopefully. Right?
Wake up and show them, hey, we can juggle 5 things in a day, and I still have time to come home and play with you guys,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Be there for the family, show them tradition, and keep that ball rolling.
What I enjoy a lot about what I've seen how you're raising your kids is you take them with you a lot. We've been to closings, we've been to a bunch of different things, and you incorporate your girls, and I think that's great. Is not just telling them, but showing them, and letting them be around it and being that example.
For sure, experience is everything, right?
Dude, they're going to be so far ahead.
In real estate, I mean, if they choose something else, that's totally fine.
Of course.
But if they do fall into that neck of the woods, they're going to be able to navigate with no problem.
Well, my daughters have been around the real estate business from the day they were born.
Yeah.
And my oldest one, shout out to Alexandria. She's come working for us recently. She's joined the team. For a long time, I was like, hey, you should come work with us. And she's like, no, I'm good. And she was doing her own thing.
Respect.
And then all of a sudden she's like, yeah, I think I want to do this. But one of the great things that I love is her mindset's a lot different than most people her age.
Respect that.
And she thinks differently. And of course, like anybody else, we're humans, we're kids, or whatever it is, a timeline. She's still young, but man, just seeing what she has seen is completely different. She actually had an observation the other day. She's like, my childhood was a lot different than my sister's, because there's an age gap of about 5 years from her and her next sister down. And that's when we were starting the business, and the struggles and the different things that happen when you start a business. So she saw all that stuff. And my younger ones have now seen it as, things, we've kind of gotten our groove going a little bit. So they see it differently.
For sure.
And I'm sure that you're going to see that, especially being 6 years in. They see the struggle, and they're going to see a lot of that for a while, and then the struggle changes, and it just morphs into something else.
Yeah, I mean, I just remember showing houses with Avery, and she was still in a car seat, right?
Yeah.
And I'd be holding the car seat with my belt loop,
Yeah.
walking through 2-story houses.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, that was Alexandria when she was little. We were like, all right, we're going to go look at houses today. She's like, oh.
Yeah, exactly. She's got a bottle. We're good, yeah.
She's like, I can't go anywhere, so whatever you want to do, you're the adult.
Exactly. Got to teach you what you need right now, right?
You're like, I'm teaching them young. That's right, let's go look at houses. That's so funny, though. But that's so true. So I've never used my kids as a reason to why I can't do something. You always use them as a reason why you should or you could do something.
Exactly.
So something that's said a long time ago, you can make excuses or you can make results, but you can't do both. Right?
Very true.
The reality is that's absolutely 100% true. So with that said, kids, wife, you just recently got married too.
Yep.
That's pretty awesome.
Yep. Love of my life, Randy. I appreciate everything she
shout
does. Yeah. Shout out to Randy. Lash Obsession and Skin Purity. She's actually
Nice.
an esthetician. She runs her own business as well.
Nice.
So I got to plug that in there for her.
For sure.
But yeah, she's just amazing being able to deal with obviously what I do, right?
Yeah.
And then of course both of us having the freedom of our own businesses and
Yeah.
juggling the kids, the cheerleading,
Yeah.
But she appreciates everything I do, and I appreciate everything she really does for me. Because of course,
Great.
there's times I'm a kook.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, don't get her and my wife together
Yeah, no.
to discuss things.
They're just gonna hang us by our toes, pretty
Well,
much.
I just celebrated my 24th anniversary. So we've
Oh,
been married 24
congrats.
years last Monday,
Nice.
and I got a congratulations, and everyone else gave her like, "Hey, my condolences." I'm so
Yeah,
sorry."
exactly.
And then and then Nicole in our office, who is also an amazing person, complete and total, absolutely awesome. She's like, I want to give her, I forget exactly what the word she said. She's like, I'm not going to give her condolences. I'm giving her like you're tough, like congratulations. My girl's got grit.
You're a champ.
She's got grit.
Way to deal with all that. Yeah.
so she knows. So yeah, absolutely. But it's so important having that core values, and I think, why is that important in working with anyone is the stability, right?
For sure.
Stability is a great thing, and we couldn't do what we do every single day and go out there and work hard and do all that without a stable environment. I think that's number one.
That's
huge.
really huge for sure.
And stability, since we're talking about real estate, the one best way that you can actually create stability in your life is by owning a home. Would you agree with that?
Oh, totally, 1,000%.
There's been study after study after study, and just saying how important that is how building a strong foundation in your family dynamic by having just that stability. And I can, shout out to my parents. I grew up in the house that I was raised in. I grew up in the house. In fact, earlier today, before this interview, I was out having coffee with them in the house that I grew up in. And I've lived in 3 properties in my entire life. The house I was raised in, the house that I bought when I was 20, 21, 22, I guess just turned 22, and the house that we live in now. And we've owned a ton of houses. We've bought a lot of real estate, but those are the 3 houses. And talk about a stable environment. I always tell people, like, when I'm leaving this house, it'll be like in a body bag, right?
Yeah,
Like, they're
no,
picking me
exactly.
up. And I love that.
And hopefully your kids end up taking that over and running it, right?
They've already been asking that. They're like, so who gets the house? The 3 of us. I was like, it's a big house. We divided it thirds.
Yes. I mean, so it's kind of the same as my upbringing, right? I mean, we lived across the street from Flying Star.
Okay.
And it's the same house has been there for centuries. The front house was actually a school that my grandfather had went to, and he had bought it, or my great grandfather had bought it, and then gave it to my grandfather, and then my grandfather bought the house behind it. Then they built a casita right next to it. So it's like my cousins, if they needed a house to live in, it's like that's how we all grew up.
That's awesome.
So I mean, I respect that whole, it stays in the family, and let's keep this tradition going.
So we're gonna just do a little trivia here, Mr. North Valley.
Oh, let's do it.
Real quick. Flying Star. What was it before Flying Star?
Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, it's always been the strip mall. I just don't remember what Flying Star was before. I remember that.
Circle K.
Was it really a Circle K?
And then we had talked to a couple of our brokers early on, and we actually had this as a trivia question. And Santiago grew up in Dietz Farms as well.
Yeah.
So he actually knew it was some kind of video place before that, but it wasn't before. I think it was Circle K, then it became a video place, and then it became Flying
It
Star.
was like a Planet Hollywood or something.
It was like an independent one. It was independent. All right. Real quick, do you remember a tree and a chain?
Yes. On the Montano issue.
Yeah, Montano, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
So Montano Bridge. I remember one of my fondest memories is still in being in, just getting out of high school and driving down Rio Grande, north on Rio Grande, and taking a right down Montano, listening to the Smashing Pumpkins in my Jeep.
Wow,
off
Smashing
there.
Pumpkins.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that was a lot of fun. Yeah, Smashing Pumpkins. They're on tour again.
I was going to say.
They're on tour, yeah. All right, so what is one of the biggest lessons that you've learned working in this field?
Staying calm, cool, and collected is really how you prosper, especially when it comes to the long run.
Yeah.
I mean, trying to keep your emotions out of everything.
I've always said calm heads always prevail in a gunfight.
Oh, for sure.
And every day is a gunfight.
Yeah, and every day is
is a
a war, for sure. I mean,
sure.
it's always a battle.
That's awesome, yeah. What are 3 reasons that you enjoy working with the M Real Estate Group?
Again, like I kind of stated earlier, was automation, support, and then the last thing is just feedback. I don't think, a lot of people are scared to tell you, what you might be doing wrong.
Yeah.
And in our morning calls, sometimes you get that and it's in your face and it's like, okay, I am doing it wrong. Like, all right, I'm going to have to give it a little bit of a different approach and take a different angle. But it's all to build you up, right? And
absolutely, 100%.
And be there for each other at the end of the day.
Motivate, inspire, and then just be there for people. Right?
Yeah.
And connect.
Big
Connectivity.
time.
We're human beings.
Yeah.
We have to connect.
We all go through the same problems, most likely.
Absolutely. So what is something that inspires you?
Just my family.
Yeah.
Really, just the family side of things, like just how, like, you know, seeing my grandfather, obviously he used to work 9 to 5, be tired, come home and still play with us.
Yeah.
And it's like, I want to do the same. So it's like, I want to show my kids that it's like, you could work your butt off and no matter what, you still come home and you're like, for you guys, I'm willing to do it. I'll do anything, right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go out to the, I always catch you at different times. You're like, hey, I'm taking the girls to the park. And it's super cool because not only can you take them to the park, but you can also do something that you're working towards that is non-real estate related, but still is exceptionally tough to do. And what is that?
Muscle up, you know, still.
Muscle up.
Yeah.
All right, tell us what a muscle up is.
So muscle up's where you're, you know, in a pull-up position and you're pulling your whole body above the bar and then going into a dip.
One giant motion.
One motion. Boom.
Wow, cool. That's a cool goal. That's a cool personal goal for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
And you're getting close?
Close. Been a challenge. You had set a date for me to reach it by August 28th.
I wasn't going to say that.
Yeah. My original goal was to do it by the end of the year, but now we've fast-tracked that.
We fast-tracked that.
Yeah.
We're moving it up. Hey, this date is not going to work for me, Josh. I really need this muscle up to be done by
really
August
don't
28th.
like December.
Yeah, I'm really not into December.
Yeah.
I think this needs to be accomplished by August 28th. And so then in the morning call, what would I do? I'd hold you accountable to the goal that I set for you.
Now you got to push it. You know, you got to.
I was like, hey, dude, we got 2 days left. What's going on? And you're like, oh, man.
I mean, I'm right there. So the next goal is to reach it by the end of September, which I'm more than confident I'm probably going to get 2 by then in a strict flow.
Yeah.
So let's see how it goes.
Well, let's ask you that question. Like, what do you think the importance of being around people that push you to elevate you to be better?
Make it to the next level, right?
Do you think
Make it
it's
to
important?
yeah, for sure. Because if not, you're going to plateau and you just keep hitting the same barrier. Because that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
Until I got that date.
Yeah. It's kind of like having a coach, right? You think about this, like in life, and this is one of those things that just was recently said to me, and it just made a lot of sense because in life, when we're young, we have people that guide us, and so whether it's going to be parents, somebody, somebody in your church, teachers, and then you start getting into sports, and there's a coach. How would you feel? How confident would you feel of like, my kids are going to go play Little League this week, but there's no coach to teach them how to do it, so they're just going to go out and play. The reality is that doesn't make any sense. You're like, why would we have them play Little League if no one's going to teach them or
they're
coach
just going to horse
them?
around the whole time, yeah.
Now you take that same philosophy and you say, as an adult, most of us don't have mentors or coaches to accomplish these things. Think about that for a second. If you had the right mentor, the right mentorship, or the right coach to help elevate you to the next level, doesn't it make sense to get one?
For sure. And you keep pushing the bar further and further.
So you can gain. So right now, if you do not have a coach, if you don't have a mentor in life, whatever you want to accomplish, my recommendation to you is go find somebody that inspires you. Go find somebody that is doing what you want to do, what you want to accomplish. Go ask questions. And today, it is so easy. There's so much social media. There's so much
groups
on YouTube. There's groups. There's all these other things. If you want to become a runner, join a group. Go run. Start. Like people say, hey, well, what about the shoes? You know what? It doesn't matter. You're going to figure it out. Commit first, figure it out later. That's the goal. Commit first, figure it out later. But get somebody that's going to push you in that capacity.
Someone push you in the pool, right? Teach you how to swim.
Push you in the pool, teach you how to swim. Like what do mama birds do with their baby birds? They kick them out of the nest. Like,
and
hey,
start flying.
You're going to fly. Exactly. So, all right. Alive or dead, famous or not, who is a person in history would you consider a role model and why?
It's going to be definitely like my grandfather.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, he's not here with us, you know.
Sure.
Rest in peace. But just seeing everything he used to do. I mean, the guy would add on to his house, right?
North Valley, man.
Yeah, like bare hands.
Yeah.
Learned plumbing, learned electrical, learned roofing. It's funny, my mom lives in the house that he lived in, and we replaced the roof, and I had the roofer come by, and he goes, yeah, man, there was 4 layers of shingle on there. I go, what? 4 layers of shingle.
It's insulation too.
Yeah, and I was like, holy moly! Like my grandfather was crazy, but it was like, he didn't know any better. He just had the time, and he was like, I got the shingles. You're getting up there. We're laying these shingles down.
We have a problem. We have a leak. We're going to fix it. We're going to fix it today.
It's getting done.
It's going to get taken care of.
If not, my nana would flip out. So
yeah,
you got to keep her happy.
Absolutely, 100%. That's awesome. So, grandfather, what was his name?
Augustine Griego.
Augustine Griego. All right, cool. Yeah, I've got some people like that. In fact, I'm fortunate enough to have my father with me still. He's 87 years old. And just before we came out today, we were talking about push-ups and different things. And my mom was like, yeah, your dad does push-ups every day. I was like, oh, nice. And so I was like, hey, Dad, how many push-ups? He's like, I can do 20. I was like, don't just talk about it, be about it. Show me. So he drops down, he starts pushing out. He pushes out 20 push-ups, and I'm like, "Oh, you're 87 years old. Like that's
He still
amazing."
got it,
and he still got it. But you're like hardworking. Like you cannot change that. And I think that is such a great environment to grow up in. Right?
For sure,
a great example for sure. What is the most interesting place you've ever visited?
Whew. The thing is, I haven't really traveled too much.
Okay. Well, that's easy then.
Yeah,
easy to answer.
So LA is usually was like my favorite spot for sure.
I
used to go
Lower Albuquerque or the
we're talking California. Like
okay,
I remember
right.
I was 19 and I didn't tell my mom I was going.
Okay.
And I just got on a plane and I was gone.
That's awesome.
And so being 19, exploring a city that you never been to before, and
sure.
You're just kind of there by yourself with one other friend. It's an experience.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But if I did have to pick somewhere that's outside of the States, I think I'd want to show my kids a different culture, right?
Sure.
Take them to Japan or Europe, something like that.
Okay, cool. Well, we talked about that this morning, so don't just talk about it, be about it, and
sure.
schedule it.
Oh, there you go.
So if that's the thing, it's like I would put that on the vision board today and get it scheduled, what you want to do. All right, what hobbies do you enjoy?
Man, athletics.
Yeah?
A lot of anything that's having to do with me moving.
Nice.
For the most part. I do it all, right? Basketball, sports, or basketball, football, baseball, running around, chasing the kids.
Man, that's when I started working out again. It's like I got to keep up with my children.
Yeah.
So that's
gotta have the juice.
There. That's a reason right there. So what are some of the goals that you have for yourself this year? So
this year I'd actually set a really huge goal, and it was a little outlandish for me, I felt like.
Sure.
But it was $400,000 in real estate net.
Okay.
And I'm not very close to it, but I've never broke $100,000 in real estate, and this year was the year I've actually done that.
That's cool. That's awesome, man. For sure. It's always about setting big goals, and sometimes one of the things is you got to set hairy, audacious goals.
Yeah.
Big, hairy, audacious goals. Something that you're like, I don't know if I can do this, but it's going to freak me out. And I always say that the goal has to own space in your head. So, like, what I mean by that is this morning when you're taking when you're in the shower and you're thinking it through, if you're not like washing your hair and you're like, how am I going to accomplish this thing? If it's not weighing on you, or you wake up in the middle of the night and all of a sudden you're like, oh, how am I going to accomplish this thing? If it's not weighing on you, it's probably not going to actually get accomplished, because I think you need to give it the energy and the time that it deserves in order to accomplish it. Like, you have to talk about it, be about it, dream about it, scheme about it, all those things.
Eat and breathe it.
You got to eat and breathe it if you want it to become your reality. And most people are like, oh, that's just a dream. Well, yeah, a dream and a goal are very similar. The only difference is a goal has a date. So if you have not put a date on some of your dreams, they're just that. They're just fantasies. They're just dreams that are never going to come true.
They're never going to come to life. Yep.
Schedule it.
Make it happen.
Make it happen. Don't just talk about it. Be about it. All right. And you've accomplished a couple of these goals? Any of the other goals that you're working on this year?
The muscle ups right there.
Yeah.
That was kind of like really my big one. And then just, again, breaking 100,000 in real estate. I'm really kind of proud of myself. I had to tap myself on the back a couple times for that, but still not close to the 400. So I'm going to keep pushing. We got 4 months left?
Yeah. You set big goals and run after it, man. That's for sure. That's awesome.
Knock them down.
So, how has it motivated you to keep going, like having this big goal? How does it motivate you every day?
I mean, like you said, you wake up and you're like, all right, what do I need to do today?
Yeah.
What can I be intentional about to make sure that I'm doing these transactions, or I got more than just 2 transactions per month, right? I need 4, 5, 6,
Yeah, absolutely.
just to make it by the end of the year. And
Yeah.
then if I don't make it this year, then what's my game plan for next year to make
Sure.
sure I do reach that?
Sure, absolutely. One of the biggest things is I heard this a long time ago, and you've probably heard me say it, but what do I have to do in order, or who do I have to become in order to accomplish blank, whatever it is, right? And for you, you could fill in like, who do I have to become in order to accomplish the muscle up? Well, I have to be somebody that is dedicated, consistent, dedicated in working out to get the strength that's necessary in order to acquire that. Well, what do I have to do in order to be, who do I have to become in order to accomplish the goal of X? Well, I have to become a better realtor. I have to become better, know the different skill set. I have to learn the different purchase agreements, or just different things, or negotiating skills, or any of those things. These are all things that I can work in order to become better, in order to accomplish the next goal.
Yeah, I definitely feel like real estate has so many avenues that you can fall into, right? And they're all revenue at the end of the day, but you're going to have to learn, have a couple failures.
Sure, absolutely.
But at the end of the day, when you master every avenue.
Well, a failure is only a failure when you completely stop and you quit.
Exactly.
And I like to look at it a little differently than a failure. I like to look at it when you fail at something, it's your first attempt, second attempt, third attempt. And you look at things differently, like you're going to attempt it again, and you're going to go back to it. And you always hear about that, and you watch motivational movies or documentaries where, the great attempt, or the great this, or whatever it is. But I think one of the best things that we can do as humans is be inspired. We can go out and we have the ability today in our world to go be inspired by so many different people and be touched by so many different people that are doing so many great things in every aspect of life, right?
Yeah.
And you have that ability by just going online and just saying, I'm going to seek knowledge today.
Yep.
I'm going to seek knowledge. I'm going to find this out, and I'm going to be inspired, and I'm going to take the steps that are necessary for me to get to that next level, whatever
Makes
it
you
is.
relentless.
It makes you relentless. And I think when you stop trying is the day you die. And you just got to keep going after
There's
it.
no laying down and dying.
There's no laying down. So you got to ultra up, man. Ultra up. You got to go out and make it happen for sure. So with that said, man, I appreciate you spending time with us today. But I do want to ask you a couple things. How do people find you? And I'm going to have you...
Yeah, so actually you can find me on Instagram at jguevabq. That's JGUEVABQ. You could use that same tagline for YouTube and TikTok. Of course, I do a lot of social media, property tours for new builds, so a lot of out-of-state clients, that's how they usually find me. And I generate a lot of out-of-state leads for that. I mean, of course, local, I still get a ton of those, but just keeping busy on the social media platforms.
Yeah, so if you are looking to invest in real estate or do anything, you want to talk to Josh, because Josh, like I said, he's the Liam Neeson of real estate. He has a very set of special skills that he can use and deploy to help you find the right investment property for sure.
For sure. I will find them.
Awesome, man. Well, we appreciate you taking time to being here today. Thank you so much, my friend.
No, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And guys, if you want anything to do and you want to find out more about real estate and real estate products, all you have to do is go right there. The M Real Estate Group and the mrealestategroup.com is where you find it all. We've got some amazing brokers, amazing people, and that's where you would actually find us all. So thank you so much for spending time with us today, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.